How do you live that on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, that's a very profound question, and I think a lot of people have asked that. And I think the answer is it's our national policy is to keep our space station going, and so it comes straight from the top, and I personally believe in it too. When we work together as human beings, and when we show by good example of working together, it can make world life on planet Earth a little bit better too. And so the ISS can be considered maybe a symbol of when humans working together and being constructive and not destructive. So that carries on through today. We had a Russian cosmonaut fly up with us on the SpaceX Crew Dragon, Crew 11. Yay, Crew 11, right? And we had an American, my good friend Johnny Kim, fly aboard a Soyuz, and we still have our partnership in space, even though on the ground we're not quite getting along. And I think it's really important that humans can put aside our worldly differences, earthly differences, right, and really focus. We have a beautiful solar system to go explore, and someday we're going to have the stars, John, and we need people working together. We need people putting their best foot forward, and humans from all over planet Earth, and the best and the brightest and the smartest. Everybody has something to offer, and we're going to go explore the whole universe, and we can do that if we stop fighting and put our efforts towards exploration.
And Mike, I had the honor of spending some time with you and the Starliner crew in integrated sims and mission control a couple years ago. And you made this transition pretty rapidly from Starliner to Dragon and to Crew 11. Uh, what was that transition like? And are you still hoping to fly Starliner someday?
Yeah, John, I remember that, and we were really glad that you could spend that time with us and see Starliner. I am a fan of Starliner. I think I was disappointed, just like everyone else, when the crew flight test didn't go as we had hoped. But that's why we test. And I was going to be on the next flight, but we're not quite sure when that is. And the management said, well, I'm ready to go. I've been training for 5 or 6 years for Starliner. Why not go to a Dragon? Well, the skills that I learned how to learn quickly at MIT, carried over to test pilot school when I went through the flight test engineer program and learned how to adapt to a new aircraft, in this case a new spacecraft, very quickly. Along with a great commander of Zena Cardman and some really great training at SpaceX in Hawthorne, California, the transition was I had to work hard, or as we used to say at MIT, at my time frame, we had to tool, but I tooled very hard and was able to pass my pilot exams and be a pretty good pilot. I've been told, but maybe I'm being too not humble. But I'll just say that I enjoy flying Dragon, and I enjoyed flying Starliner too, even though we never have gotten to realize it, but never turn down a mission. So if that ever comes to pass, and they offer me a Starliner spot, of course I'll say yes. But in the meantime, focusing on this mission here, Expedition 73, and the International Space Station, and continuing our mission of science and exploration for sure.
So speaking of tooling, is that a term that's well known within the astronaut office?
Nope. We That's more of an MIT term than anything else, but there's some of us that still remember that term, and yes, I definitely had to put my nose to the grindstone, and my colleagues in the astronaut office, whether we call it tooling or studying extra hard or whatever, my hats off to all of my colleagues for how fast that they can learn, how fast they've picked up Russian language and all these things that really make them a world class astronaut office, and it's an honor to be a part of that.
So, Mike, do you think we'll be able to maintain a presence, a continuous human presence on orbit after the ISS? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, John, that's a really important question. It's something that NASA's discussing, including our acting administrator, Mr. Duffy, is that and in fact, right before launch, we even had a chance to talk about that. What NASA's doing now is really exciting. Lots of really neat opportunities for low Earth orbit and economy, making industrialization in low Earth orbit. Looking forward to manufacturing and biomedicine. There's just so many opportunities, and there are companies, and NASA's kind of investing in these companies and encouraging these companies with resources, but also know-how on how to build space stations. And so that we'll, before we deorbit our beautiful International Space Station, we're certainly hoping and planning to have private space stations, commercial space stations, that we can send NASA astronauts to continue our mission of science and exploration. But also, it won't be the International Space Station; it will be these other ones, and it won't just be NASA astronauts going up. It'll be private astronauts and people from companies, people, researchers. A lot more people from MIT will have the chance to go fly in space, as well as well as from all kinds of other places. And it's an exciting time, and I'm looking forward to that.
And Mike, you'll hopefully be on orbit when Artemis 2 launches in the spring. And not sure if you know this, but the MIT Lincoln Lab developed the optical communication system that's going to be on that is on the Orion spacecraft that the crew will be using to communicate. And you'll probably have a chance to talk to that crew. Any thoughts about being in space when Artemis 2 is circling the moon?
I know myself and my crewmates on board. We're going to be so excited to have a chance. We're going to be rooting for them. Maybe we'll be able to take a picture of their launch from space. Who knows? And it'll be a true amazing thing for us aboard the International Space Station to have a conversation with our dear friends that our heroes on Artemis 2, and that'll be something really special. I'm not sure we've ever done such a thing before, and it's going to be really exciting. And they're just getting Artemis started with this Artemis 2. Soon we're going to have Artemis 3, people landing on the moon again. There's going to be all kinds of opportunities and for research, and of course, kudos to our friends from Lincoln Lab for really helping NASA out yet again.
And what do you think the enduring legacy of the ISS will be as you think about it? What your career spanned the entire program with 3 long duration flights. You're the best person to talk about the legacy. What do you think it will be?
Yeah, I think there's several aspects to the legacy of the International Space Station. First and foremost, it's given us a perspective of how to live in space, not just to visit, but to live. The short duration missions really paved the way for our long duration missions. And now, even in the American culture and human culture, we're just the people just expect that there are people in orbit around planet Earth. People are used to having people in space, astronauts in space. It's just amazing. People are now thinking that it's just normal if you apply yourself, or if you save up enough money, you too can go to space. The opportunities are there. That's one of the legacies. Other legacy is international cooperation. We went from a space race during the Apollo timeframe to actually now we've worked together, humans across planet Earth, making something pretty incredible. And this international cooperation, I really hope, lasts as we go throughout the Artemis program and then onto Mars. It's better that we work together than work separately. And I think those are legacies that people will remember, people will expect. And I'm just glad to have been part of the story. And my hats off to all of my crewmates and to all of the teams across planet Earth that put this beautiful space station together. And it's not just, again, the science and engineering, but the logistics and diplomacy that really keep the space station flying. So kudos.
Well, Mike, it's been an honor to speak with you today. Say hello to Zena Cardman. I know her. And also your flight surgeon, Joe Dervay. I grew up with him in Johnson City, New York. I've known him since the 2nd grade.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Both of those are some of my favorite people. So I'll be sure to pass on and please compliments to all of our friends in Aeroastro and at MIT. Anybody who might remember me, please give them my greetings and thanks for reminding me to call Professor Samuel Ting for sure. And John. Thank you for joining us aboard the space station today. We really appreciate it, and thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you. It's been quite an honor, Mike, and good luck with the rest of the mission.
Station, this is Houston ACR.
Thanks. Hope to see you when we get back.
This is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming.